Mr. Golden, have you had enough time to speak to your attorneys about this decision to waive your right to your preliminary hearing?
Yes.
All right, you understand that the standard at a preliminary hearing is a much lower burden of proof that the government would have to meet than at trial. So instead of proof beyond a reasonable doubt, it's a lower burden of proof, which is there a reasonable belief that a crime was committed by you? And the court has to view all the evidence that it would receive in a light most favorable to the government, to the prosecution. Understanding that legal standard and having had discussions with your attorneys, do you hereby waive your right to your preliminary hearing?
Yes.
All right. The court finds that Mr. Golden has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to his preliminary hearing. He will be bound over for trial on all the charges set forth in the information, the charging document in this case.
Salute, Bread Squad. How y'all feeling? Welcome to the studio, where we learn how not to be fools from some well-paid fools. And we got a good one today, guys. You know how I tell you, study these celebrities so you know how the sheep is moving? Well, if Sexy Red is the rat poison that they feeding our little girls, this one right here, this NBA Youngboy, is the rat poison that they're feeding our boys. So let's get straight on into it, guys.
NBA Youngboy may have one of the more impressive resumes when it comes to getting arrested. His current legal situation involves multiple layers of charges across state and federal jurisdictions, with the latest key development being his agreement to plead guilty to a federal weapons charge in Utah. Not just that, but Youngboy has been under house arrest in Utah while awaiting trial in Louisiana after facing over 60 felony counts related to a large-scale prescription fraud ring. If anyone around him is happy, it's most definitely going to be his lawyer, since he seems to be unable to keep himself out of legal trouble. Kentrell Golden was born on October 20th, 1999, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Golden broke his neck while wrestling as a toddler, the injury requiring a head brace until the spine healed. The brace left permanent scars on his forehead that are a part of his trademark look. Golden was raised mainly by his maternal grandmother, due to his father being sentenced to 55 years in prison. He dropped out of 9th grade and told his mom he wanted to focus on his music career, and was soon arrested for robbery and sent to a detention center in Tallulah, Louisiana.
And for years, since 1988, we've been falling for this trap right here. The music industry know how to pick 'em, boy. They find the littlest kid with the roughest background, give him everything, and then come pull him right down. They give him everything, and they give it to the people they know gonna give it right back to them. Guys, keep in mind, they've been doing this to our people for years. Or should I say, our people have been doing this to themselves for years. You know what I mean? One little person, one little guy make it out of the hood full of 600 rappers. One. And it get everybody think, oh, I could be a rapper. So now everybody jump into this music industry bubble, because that's all it is. Everybody invest into this bubble, and only one raggedy kid get out. Only to then get sucked right back in, because the statistics never lie. Single mothers raise the worst. And this one not even single mother raised. This one single grandmother raised. Incredible. Where's his mama?
There, he began writing lyrics for his debut project. After he was released from the detention center, Golden's grandmother died of heart failure, and Golden moved in with his friend and fellow Baton Rouge rapper, NBA 33. The two then used acts of criminality to begin to pay for studio time. Golden first began producing music with a microphone he bought from Walmart when he was 14 years old. He released his first mixtape, Life Before Fame, in 2015. Golden announced his debut studio album, Until Death Call My Name, in January 2018, shortly after signing a joint venture deal with Atlantic Records. It was here that his music career really started to take off, and he started making hits that made it on the Billboard Top 100 and being featured on other charts as well. Then, in September of 2020, he released his newest album, Top. The album debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and became his third #1 album in under 1 year. In 2015, Youngboy caught his first ever charge. This encounter with the law was the result of him having committed a robbery at only 15 years old. While some rap artists can blur the lines between life and art with their alleged criminal activity, fans can draw a straight line between his first arrest and his introduction to rap. While jailed in Tallulah, Louisiana on this charge, Youngboy put pen to pad and founded a rap career based off of his troubled life. These early musings would become the basis for what is now his well-known 2015 debut mixtape, Life Before Fame. Youngboy spoke of the time during an interview with The Fader in humble terms, saying, "I had been rapping, but I used to hide it." After this 6-month period of change and self-discovery, a criminal court judge opted in favor of NBA's release, allowing him to continue into young adulthood with his freedom intact. Or at least, that was the intention, because he had a long road ahead of him that would be fraught with troubles with the law. Usually with crimes involving younger people, there is a clear escalation from one act to the next, but not with this young rapper. NBA Youngboy was arrested at a concert at which he was scheduled to perform on November 28, 2016. The arrest in Austin, Texas arose over law enforcement's belief that Youngboy wildly fired guns into a crowd via drive-by just weeks prior in Baton Rouge. The arrest occurred at an exceptionally unfortunate time for Youngboy, who had just turned 17 and was thus eligible to be tried as an adult. Prosecutors were able to paint a vivid picture of possible punishments enough to overcome Youngboy's recalcitrant mindset, as he not only paid a post-conviction bail of $50,000, but also accepted a deal to plead guilty and comply with officers in exchange for a less severe prison sentence. Having been charged with 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder, Youngboy got off with a steal of only 9 months behind bars and 3 years of probation. A slap on the wrist compared to the maximum of 40 years imprisonment he could have received under Texas state law. The prosecutorial reasoning is not fully known at a public scale, so it is undetermined if how much NBA Youngboy helped prosecutors by providing information on 2 of the other alleged shooters in the drive-by. Despite the groundbreaking success of tracks like Untouchable, NBA Youngboy was arrested on a fugitive warrant for having sought to evade arrest on charges of weapons possession, kidnapping, and assault. The latter 2 charges pertained in part to an incident recorded in a hotel hallway, which depicts Youngboy physically ABing his girlfriend, Jania Jackson, then dragging her into a hotel room. NBA Youngboy only remained in jail for 1 month until he paid his $75,000 bond. He took to social media when the video was first published, saying the 2 were only playing, but the public discourse on the matter remains divided. After 2019, it honestly felt that NBA Youngboy had taken the hint and gotten himself back on the straight and narrow, and that would appear to have been the case until September of 2020, when police did a contraband check on him and he got busted. NBA caught at least 3 drug and gun charges, reportedly including felony possession of drugs and possession of a stolen firearm. His arrest took place alongside 15 others after police responded to a call regarding individuals displaying firearms and recording a video. Baton Rouge police claimed the suspects arrested were Never Broke Again gang members and Bottom Boy Gorillas members as well. At the scene, officers discovered numerous firearms, including an AK-47, in addition to hydrocodone, marijuana, digital scales, and Xanax. Furthermore, NBA Youngboy alone was found to be in possession of $47,000 in cash at the time of the arrest. Youngboy's lawyer was swift to take up a rigorous defense of his client, stating, "We still have the Second Amendment in the United States. The immediate detention of these black men was illegal in that it violated their constitutional rights. The subsequent searches conducted by law enforcement were also illegal. Even with the illegal searches that were conducted, no firearms or controlled dangerous substances were found on Mr. Galden's person or in his immediate control. Mr. Galden is innocent of the charges he was booked on last night and looks forward to defending himself as such."
Now, when Dirty Folks Podcast said our government and democracy is for women, gays, and felons, it didn't take me long to understand exactly what he meant. Because do you see how these ratchet Keishas and these Pookies, they don't want to arrest these people. They don't want to lock these people up. They want these people to open the cash register up out here on these streets at our expense, at us hard-working individuals' expense. Because they do whatever they got to do to keep these folks out of jail, and that's where they need to be. That's where they need to be, guys.
In his latest legal troubles, a Baton Rouge judge ordered NBA Youngboy into federal custody Thursday after he was arrested Tuesday in Utah, accused of participating in a large-scale prescription fraud ring. Youngboy was already out on bond as he faced weapon charges in Baton Rouge. U.S. District Court Judge Shelley D. urged that bond be revoked. Youngboy has been on house arrest in Utah. He was arrested and booked into the Cache County Jail on more than 60 felony counts. Investigators believe the chart-topping rapper was involved in a scheme of fraudulently obtaining the prescription drugs promethazine and codeine from several pharmacies in Utah. At least 2 others have been arrested, and as many as 8 others may have been involved in the organized operation, according to a Cache County Sheriff arrest affidavit. The crew allegedly called multiple pharmacies, pretending to be real doctors in the area using their legitimate Drug Enforcement Agency identification numbers and calling in prescriptions. Some were filled, but others were flagged as fraudulent, officials said. This continues to show a pattern consistent with an organizational structure, an investigator wrote. As authorities investigated, Gwendolyn Cox, who said she was a 75-year-old woman, contacted Cache County Dispatch and asked to speak with an officer. Authorities believe this same name was used to fill some of the fraudulent prescriptions. During the conversation with Gwendolyn, it was very clear that a fake voice was being used, wrote the investigator. Gwendolyn sounded as though she was a much younger male from the southern states. In the call, the person used the word ax in place of ask. The written affidavit does not say whether authorities believe this call was with Golden or not, but in a later conversation with the investigator, the rapper reportedly used the word ax the same way. The first evidence cited by authorities of one of these fraudulent calls took place in September 2023. On Tuesday, authorities arrested Golden and searched his residence. According to arrest documents, they found multiple prescription bottles of promethazine with codeine. Golden also said he had no knowledge of his associates picking up any fraudulently placed prescriptions. In total, Golden faces 20 counts of identity fraud, 20 counts of procuring or attempting to procure a prescription drug, 20 counts of forgery, and 1 count of drug possession, 1 weapons count, and a count of a pattern of unlawful activity.
So when you ask why is all the young little black boys on drugs and unmotivated, here you go. Look no further. This is the programming, guys. This is the programming. And you can miss me with the white supremacy. Yes, white supremacy may have rolled these systems out. You know, this the Eminem. This the Eminem right here. You know, when they knocked off Tupac and Biggie and they gave us the Eminem plant and Eminem made it cool to do drugs. You know, remember that? But he didn't put them drugs in your kids' hands, though. And they never do. You parents put them drugs and put them guns in them kids' hands because you bring them into this world and don't have a plan for them. Yeah. And then you stick your hands in your pocket talking about, I ain't raised him like that. He give you the shirt off his back. Meanwhile, he out here robbing people for shirts on their back. But guys, y'all let me know how y'all feel about this in the comment section. Let's definitely take this to the comment section because just like how he's going to face some accountability, we need more of these modern young women facing accountability. Don't you think? All right, I'll see y'all later.